Network and Peacock Channel. The U.S. men's basketball team is a 33-point favorite in their quarterfinal game against Puerto Rico. The game is Saturday morning at 8:15 on NBC and Peacock. Chargers quarterback Justin Herbert will miss the preseason with a plantar fascia injury in his right foot. He needs to wear a boot cast for 2 weeks. Herbert should be ready for the season opener September 8th against Las Vegas. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580 is the fastest growing talk radio station in Southern California, home to 50,000 watts and an audience reach of 12 million listeners. KBLA Talk 1580 is a pioneer for Black audio content, including our groundbreaking $2 million climate justice campaign and the most loyal, influential audience. According to an independent research study by the polling firm Aviterus, for the second consecutive year, KBLA Talk 1580 is the most trustworthy, reliable, and credible news source for Black audiences and beyond in Southern California. Let KBLA Talk 1580 power your advertising dollars. Our omni-channel custom marketing solutions are specifically tailored to connect with your ideal target audience. We leverage audio, podcasts, streaming, digital, social media, and local activations to get your message out to the Black community. Get in touch with our advertising team today at advertising@KBLA1580.com. That's advertising at KBLA1580.com. KBLA 1580. We've got you Black.
Thank you for coming forward with us on KBLA Talk 1580. This is First Things First with Dominique DiPrima, Angela Reddock-Wright, guest hosting for the amazing Dominique DiPrima on this Friday. And I hope you are having a great start to your Friday and a great weekend ahead of you. I hope this week has been good to you. My week started off a little challenging, but, thankfully things always turn around, and they turned around and ended up being a great, great week. And so this is a 3-hour show. We started in the first hour with the regular guest of First Things First, Sherry Bell, who is a board member with the Los Angeles Black Workers Center, and gave us some great insights on the state of affairs for African American workers in California and Los Angeles and in the nation, and also weighed in on, subject that's on all of our minds, the presidential election, the two leading candidates at this time, including our very own Vice President Kamala Harris. So thank you, Sherry, for the insights you provided. And then another regular guest of KBLA Talk 1580, First Things First, we had Chris Hodgson, who is with CJEC, and they are it's called the Coalition for a Just and Equitable California, and they are helping give leadership post the sunsetting of the California Reparations Task Force. post the California Reparations Task Force, giving us insights on what CJEC is doing to help carry out the mission of the California Reparations Task Force, as well as Assembly Bill 3121, which helped form the California Reparations Task Force. And that, those of you who've been following that issue, that task force sunsetted in June of 2023, and they have their recommendations, they have their findings, and so now it's all about putting our money where our mouth is, so to speak, and carrying those recommendations forward, and actually starting the process of producing reparations for African Americans in the state of California who are the descendants of enslaved people. We just learned not just enslaved people or individuals in California, although California had a very serious issue dealing with of enslaved people, but in descendants of enslaved people throughout the United States of America. And Chris shared with us what the eligibility requirements will be, and that there will be an Office of Genealogy in the state of California, which for those of us who have not traced our ancestry, they will help us to trace our ancestry so we can show our eligibility. Since we just can't show the color of our skin, that won't be enough. That we can show, or just walk into a building, as he said, and declare that we are Black, I am Black. That Office of Genealogy will help us to establish our genealogy, our ancestry, so that we can establish eligibility for reparations in the state of California. And so in this hour, we were hoping to have, I know she's a regular as well on the show, Dr. Julianne Malvo, who is a top economist in our country and has done a lot of the research around the issues of the financial part of reparations for the state of California and throughout the country. She unfortunately will not be able to join us this morning. But Chris, thank you so much. Chris has graciously agreed to rejoin us. So thank you, Chris, because I actually have so many more questions for you. So it's actually a blessing that we're able to continue the discussion and to hear from someone who's literally on the front lines, you along with CJEC, on the front lines of really helping to carry this reparations work forward in the state of California. So, Chris, you're there?
Yes, I'm here. Yes. And
thank you.
The ancestors work in mysterious ways.
Yes. Thank you so much for returning with us in this third hour of First Things First. So, Chris, you laid out what some of the recommendations are of the task force, and I'm glad that now we only focused on the eligibility piece of it. So I'm glad that now we can tackle some of the other pieces and can kind of slow it down a little bit and really develop the conversation.
Right.
So you mentioned there's eligibility requirements. The recommendations also include direct compensation, a new state agency. There's legislation that we've already started to see in place. So let's take a step back. And when we talk about, and when you say you think those first checks will start to come forward in January 2025, I'm a little skeptical of that, but okay, I'll go with you on this Friday morning. Is Keep Hope Alive Friday. Direct compensation. I know the task force had research done on what the actual economic impact is on African Americans, Black Americans in California, of being the descendants of enslaved people here. What is that economic dollar?
So that's a great question, and just to be really clear, there will be some policies that will be passed this year that will start to take effect in January 1, 2025. We are working to see legislation to cut checks in January of 2025. So that legislation will still have to go through the process in 2025, but we are working to make sure that happens as soon as possible. To your question, though, about the economic dollar amount, so the state task force, through their work over 2+ years, really looked at this question in detail. They hired a team of economists, folks like Dr. William Darity Jr., Casey Campbell, Professor Kramer, the late Bill Spriggs, and also Thomas Kramer, very, very esteemed professional economist, to answer this question. The number is $800 billion at the minimum. The state of California,
800 with a B. A B as in
with
boy.
a big B. Yes.
Okay.
800 big B billions of dollars. And this is the amount that was stolen and taken from this particular community of descendants. This is what the state of California stole from us. This is what we are at least owed, and that is actually a minimum amount, because that is what was stolen and taken across a subset, a small group, a small part of the harms and things that the state of California did. So there is definitely a higher number, but the starting number where we start is at $800 billion.
And when you say that is a representative number, a subset, like, is that direct money taken, or that's made up of property that was taken, other things that were taken? Like, what makes up that $800 billion number, broadly speaking?
That is the wealth equivalent of what was taken and lost and stolen from, what we lost over mass incarceration, from what we lost over harms in housing and in health and the theft of property. What was the actual wealth loss from all those different policies that California did? What did we lose in wealth as a result of it? Because every time you are mass incarcerated, that means that you're not making wealth. Every time that you have harms in your health and your housing, that means that your wealth is negatively impacted. Every time that your property is taken, obviously, clearly, that is stolen wealth also. So what was the wealth equivalent of the losses? And that across a subset, just 5 of the 12 areas that the task force looked at, that number itself is $800 billion.
Right. And then what is the amount of compensation each individual will be eligible to receive if they qualify for reparations?
That is to be determined. The task force did not recommend a specific dollar amount for each specific individual. The task force asked the legislature to draft legislation to come up with that dollar figure. The total would probably have to be something amounting to something close to at least $800 billion, obviously, if we add it all up. But the specific dollar amount for every specific individual will likely be different. And that's because the task force also recommended that individuals be compensated based on a couple of different things. So,
Chris, pause right there. We'll pick up there when we come forward. You're tuned into KBLA Talk 1580. This is First Things First with Dominique DiPrima, Angela Reddock-Wright guest hosting.
KBLA Talk 1580 is an intervention. When we come forward, includes you. KBLA Talk 1580, turning pain into power. Tavis is like George and Wheezy. He's moving on up. Last year, Tavis was number 45 on the Talkers Magazine list of the 100 most important radio talk show hosts in America. Wait for it. The 2024 list was recently released, and Tavis has jumped to number 33 on the list of the nation's most important talkers, making him the highest-ranked African-American on the coveted roster. Congratulations to Tavis Smiley from all of us at KBLA Talk 1580. We've got you black.
On your period, sudden gushes happen without warning. But now, you can say goodbye to stand-up gush fears, thanks to Always Ultra Thins with rapid dry technology. It absorbs gushes 2 times faster than the leading store brand and gives you up to 100% leak-free protection. Hello, clean and comfortable with Always Fear No Gush.
Thanks for calling Discover. This is Diego.
Hi, Diego. It's Jennifer Coolidge. I just want to say your cashback match makes me feel so special. It really inspired me.
That's great. Doubling the cashback you've earned at the end of your first year is what we do.
Well, I'm doubling everything now. Double dating, double dipping, double feature, double header, double whammy. Basically double or nothing.
You earn, we match. Discover Cashback Match. See terms at discover.com/creditcard.
Sometimes I struggle to get to sleep. My body stopped for the day, but my mind is still running. So I take ZQuil.
ZQuil, the world's #1 sleep aid brand, has a range of non-habit-forming products to fit you and your family's needs. Invest in a great night's sleep for the best you tomorrow.
I'm awake and ready to take on anything.
Better days start with ZQuil nights. Explore our products at ZQuil.com. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Our daughter Jessie loves playing detective.
But since we discovered she has sensitive skin, we've been playing detective too.
We thought the problem was our puppy.
But it was actually our old detergent. So we switched to Tide Free and Gentle.
Tide Free and Gentle has no dyes or perfumes, so it's gentle on her skin.
If it's gotta be clean, it's gotta be Tide Free and Gentle. This back-to-school season, Tide and Downy are giving back with $1.5 million in scholarships. Enter to win. No purchase necessary. US/DC 17+. End September 30th. Rules. Tide.com/scholarship/official rules.
Thanks for waking up with Dominique DiPrima on KBLA Talk 1580.
Brothers and sisters, I want to welcome you back to life. Back to the one that can make your next chapter your best chapter. Hallelujah.
How can it be that you love the most unlovable part of me?
Good day to you and happy Friday. Happy beginning of the weekend. Hoping you have some great plans coming up this weekend and hoping that we're helping to get your day started in a good and positive direction. This is Angela Reddock-Wright, guest hosting for Dominique DiPrima, First Things First, and we are in conversation with Chris Lodgson, who is on the front lines along with the organization that he works with, Coalition for a Just and Equitable California, also known as CJEC. They're on the front lines of helping carry out the reparations movement here in the state of California. Chris, you've been so great this morning and really helping us define what we're talking about when we talk about eligibility, and also helping us to understand the economics behind reparations in California, and what what's behind the $800 billion with the B analysis, what that means. So you were just about to share with us in January 2025, we'll start to see some of the legislation take effect. Continue in that conversation.
Yeah. So, and thank you for again asking. And I guess I'm guesting right now too, which is totally cool. I'm happy to do it. I'm thankful for the opportunity. And this is a really important part of the talk, and it's also why I'm happy to do this, because the economic and the financial piece is so critical to the overall success of the overall reparations effort. Mm-hmm. As I was saying, the task force did not recommend a specific dollar amount for each individual. The task force recommended a kind of way for folks to figure out how they might be or how much they might be eligible for. And it goes something like this. So the task force recommended 2 levels of direct compensation. What you might call a general level of direct compensation, and then a specific level of direct compensation. So at the general level, as long as you meet the eligibility criteria, as long as you are a resident who is a descendant, you would be eligible for a certain amount of direct financial compensation, and how much specifically you would be eligible for would depend on how long you've lived in California. Okay. So, for example, somebody like myself, I came to California finally in 2015. I'm a descendant. I'm a resident also. I will be eligible for a certain amount of direct compensation. Somebody who is a long life, all-day life California resident, been here their whole life, 20, 30, 40, 50 years, they will be eligible for more than I would. And that is because the thinking goes that the longer you've been in California, the more you've been exposed to what California has done, then the more you should be eligible for. So that's the general level. At the specific level, though, everybody who's eligible, if you have a specific claim to a specific bad harm that the state of California did. So, for example, the state of California stole my property, or the state of California falsely mass incarcerated me, or there's some specific claim, you would also be able to make a claim for compensation for that on top of that general level of compensation also.
And where's the money coming from to fund the reparations initiatives?
That is the $800 billion question.
I imagine critics of reparations are asking that question, right?
Critics, For sure. But also, people who just want to know where, how are we going to pay for this? So I'll make a couple of points, and then I want to answer the question specifically and directly. So first, California as a state has the fourth or fifth largest economy on planet Earth. Our state does more economics and business than almost every other country, with the exception of 3 countries, and one of those countries is our country. Also, California has and spend something like $250 billion, almost, a third of $1 trillion every single year. We have a $300 billion budget every single year. Where is the money coming from? The money can come from and will come from several different places. First, our general fund and our existing revenues. Right now, just in the last, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks, we already passed the first reparations dollars set aside in our state budget. There's a $12 billion set aside in our state budget right now. It's a drop of a drop in the bucket, and it's also a first time that we've ever had any dollars at all set aside for anything called reparations. So it's going to come from our general fund. It also can come from the surpluses that we eventually do have as a state, because we're not going to be in deficits forever. So it can come from our surpluses also. It can also come from our reserve funds as well. So we have a series of reserve funds that we set aside and put money away into. We have a rainy day fund. We have a special fund for economic uncertainties. Our funding for reparations can come from these funds also.
Okay. But currently we have a deficit, right?
That's what they tell us.
Okay.
That's what they tell us. And now that's what they tell us. But I'll go back to this point. We just, even in a deficit year, which was, last year, we just put $12 million in a set-aside fund for reparations. So we just showed that even in a deficit year, you can do something, right? And also we've made the point that we're not the people who you only do stuff for when you have extra money. Right? We are the descendants of the people who built this state, who built this country. We deserve the highest level of priority. So we're not the people who you only do something for when you don't have a deficit. That's not who we are.
It goes obviously way deeper than that, right? It's not just something bad happened last year. We're talking 200 plus years of issues here, right? As it relates to the descendants of enslaved people in this country. So we've been focused on the money. There's some other parts of reparations that make up the overall set of recommendations. What are some other areas in which we can improve the state of things through reparations for African Americans, Black Americans here in California?
Yes. So the task force made something like 100 or so plus different recommendations. Obviously, we've been very much focused on the economic part, because that is core to the success of everything else. But the task force also recommended free college tuition for folks who are descendants. So, folks who want to go to school and want to go to college, you should go to college for free. The task force also recommended free legal services and free healthcare services for folks who are descendants also. So, you should not be paying for legal services. You should not be paying for healthcare services. The task force also recommended tax exemption in many ways also, so that our tax burden is relieved and in some cases even erased. The task force also recommended that certain kinds of laws and policies be taken down and stopped, so that the current harm that we are still experiencing will stop. And I mentioned this earlier. Right now, California allows a form of slavery in our prisons, for example. We are right now enslaving people who are in prison right now. And so the State Reparations Task Force recommended that our Constitution be amended and updated to take away that power from our California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation to do that. And right now there's a proposition on our ballot in November called Prop 6 that will do just that. So we're asking folks to vote yes on Prop 6. First day to vote is October 7th. Last day to vote is November 5th.
Okay, you've referenced the prisons and Prop 6 a couple of times now. What exactly do you mean when you say this part of the problem is the imprisoning of individuals? You're talking about people who were wrongfully imprisoned or imprisoned for longer than they should be. Like what exactly? How is that tied to reparations?
Yes. So at the end of the Civil War, there were folks who obviously wanted to continue slavery, right? Obviously. And so one of the ways in which those folks were successful at doing that is by putting a part of our Constitution or a clause in our Constitution that allows something called involuntary servitude. And our Constitution says something like slavery is prohibited, period. Involuntary servitude is prohibited, comma, except as punishment for involuntary servitude is slavery. Actually, the definition of slavery is involuntary servitude. And what happened at that time was people were then, rounded up and falsely arrested and then leased out back to the same plantations that they were enslaved on, just as, sort of convict labor or what we call convict leasing. That was back then. Now, what the form of this today is people who are currently incarcerated right now, when they are in prison, if and when they are assigned a job, if they decline that job, they can have their sentences extended. So it's either you work or you don't go home. And you can have not just your sentence extended, you can have your visitations cut. You can have the amount of food that you eat cut. If you said right now, I want to, and I talked to brothers about this on Wednesday in one of the prisons in Stockton. Many of the brothers came up to my table and said, Chris, I want to go to this GED class. I want to go to this, AA class. I want to go to this, this associate degree class, but it conflicts with my job assignment. And if I say no to the job, I get more time. And that's what's going on now.
And so Proposition 6 is designed to get rid of that?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Prop 6 will stop that.
So yes, so is the recommendation yes or no on Proposition 6?
Yes. Yes on Prop 6.
And Proposition 6 would basically do away with involuntary servitude, or at least the way in which it currently exists in California prisons.
Absolutely right. It will stop the ability of our prison systems to punish people if they decline work. And it will not stop work, though. People will still be able to voluntarily choose work. And let's be clear, too, people in prison, most of the folks who I've talked to were formerly incarcerated and currently incarcerated, want to work in prison. They want to do something while they're there. They don't just want to be sitting there. They want to be active. They want to be doing things with their day. They usually have full days, but right now they are punished if they decline work. And, we haven't talked about, the wages and the pay. That's a whole different conversation.
Right.
But which is, horrible in and of itself. But this is really about stopping people stopping the system itself, the prison system right now, from forcing labor, from involuntary servitude, and from a modern-day form of slavery.
Okay. Thank you, Chris Lodgson. Thank you for rejoining us for this last half hour. Understand that you have to get going with your day now, but it's been a pleasure having you on KBLA Talk 1580 and me meeting you for the first time. And I'm glad that Dominique has introduced us. I look forward to having you in the Legal Lens show as well. So have a great Friday, Chris, and thank you for all the encouragement and hope that you provided to our listeners.
Thank you.
You're tuned in to KBLA Talk 1580. Come forward with us in our next half hour. I want to invite you to give us a call on our power lines, 1-800-920-1580. It's going to be conversation with us, with you and me in this next half hour. So love for you to call in, hear what's on your mind, what you're thinking about, what's causing you to stay up and have some sleepless nights. What are you thinking about these days? Come forward with us on KBLA Talk 1580.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
Thank you for joining us. I'm Mike Moore. Now here's the latest from the Black Information Network. The largest active wildfire in the U.S. has now burned over 394,000 acres in Northern California. As of Thursday night, the Park Fire was 22% contained and evacuation orders were still in effect across 3 counties. More babies are being born with birth defects linked to fentanyl. At least 30 newborns have been diagnosed with what's being called fetal fentanyl syndrome, suffering health problems after their mothers used illicit fentanyl while pregnant. Team USA extended its lead of Olympic medals Thursday. African-American Simone Biles won the gold, and Suni Lee took the bronze in the women's gymnastics all-around final, and there were 5 other U.S. medal winners. The U.S. now has a total of 37. And that's the latest. I'm Mike Moore from your 24/7 news source, the Black Information Network, and BINnews.com.
It's Mattress Firm's semi-annual sale and clearance. Save up to 60% on a wide selection of quality mattresses at every price. Plus, score a free adjustable base with a qualifying purchase. Hurry and stop by Mattress Firm today.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
Simone Biles continues to be one of the main attractions at the Summer Olympics. She won the gymnastics all-around title to claim another gold medal. She's won 2 gold medals in Paris and has 6 overall in her record-breaking career. Simone has a chance for 3 more gold medals in the finals of the vault, balance beam, and floor exercise. The U.S. Olympic women's basketball team overcame 16 turnovers to beat Belgium. They move into the quarterfinals. Next game is Sunday morning against Germany at 8 a.m. on the USA Network and Peacock Channel. The U.S. men's basketball team is a 33-point favorite in their quarterfinal game against Puerto Rico. The game is Saturday morning at 8:15 on NBC and Peacock. Chargers quarterback Justin Herbert will miss the preseason with a plantar fascia injury in his right foot. He needs to wear a boot cast for 2 weeks. Herbert should be ready for the season opener September 8th against Las Vegas. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
Around here, we don't believe in victimhood. We believe in raising our voices, amplifying black voices in the climate conversation. We're KBLA Talk 1580.
When you turn to the Employment Development Department, we'll help you get there. Whether it's support for you and your family while you find a new job, or the resources to focus on your recovery after illness or injury, we can help you move forward. From support while you bond with your newborn, to helping serve your family while your partner serves our country. Your EDD. We'll help you get there. For more information, visit edd.ca.gov.
To help combat climate change, LADWP is helping neighborhoods have better access to electric vehicles by awarding nearly $130 million in EV rebates to customers just like you. From big savings on used EVs to building new charging plazas, LADWP is charging ahead to help all Angelinos experience the benefits of EVs. Get rebates of up to $4,000 for a used EV and $1,750 for a charger. Learn more at ladwp.com/EV. That's ladwp.com/EV.
Sometimes I struggle to get to sleep. My body stopped for the day, but my mind is still running. So I take ZQuil.
ZQuil, the world's #1 sleep aid brand, has a range of non-habit-forming products to fit you and your family's needs. Invest in a great night's sleep for the best you tomorrow.
I'm awake and ready to take on anything.
Better days start with ZQuil nights. Explore our products at ZQuil.com. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Our daughter Jessie loves playing detective.
But since we discovered she has sensitive skin, we've been playing detective too.
We thought the problem was our puppy.
But it was actually our old detergent. So we switched to Tide Free and Gentle.
Tide Free and Gentle has no dyes or perfumes, so it's gentle on her skin.
If it's gotta be clean, it's gotta be Tide Free and Gentle. This back-to-school season, Tide and Downy are giving back with $1.5 million in scholarships. Enter to win. No purchase necessary. US/DC 17+. End September 30th. Rules. Tide.com/scholarship/official rules.
Hey, LA residents, it's planting season and the perfect time to get shade trees growing around your home. LADWP and City Plants are giving every resident up to 7 free trees. That's right, 7 free trees delivered right to your door. Trees are great for the environment, help improve air quality, and can help you save on your bill when you use less air conditioning to stay cool indoors. Learn more at ladwp.com/free trees. That's ladwp.com/free trees.
This is KBLA Talk 1580, where hate meets a scholarly match.
You are the sunshine of my life. That's why I'll always be around. You are the apple of my eye.
for coming forward with us on KBLA Talk 1580. This is First Things First with Dominique DiPrima, Angela Reddock-Wright guest hosting. Many of you may know that I am a member of the KBLA Talk 1580 family. I host the Legal Lens Show, which airs each Saturday at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time and replays on Sundays at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And our mission on the Legal Lens Show is to bring law to light. Each Saturday and Sunday, we try to bring to you guests who can shed light on the trending legal issues and legal topics and policy topics in our communities, with top lawyers and legislators and others that bring law to light. Right now, we are in the middle of what we call our Sizzling Legal Summer series, where we're bringing on top attorneys to talk about the work that they do and to focus on issues that impact you daily, answering the daily legal questions that you have. And on the Legal Lens Show tomorrow, I'm excited about our guest. We have attorney Sean Hawley, and she's a top trial attorney, celebrity lawyer who represents celebrities and high-profile clients in criminal law and civil law proceedings. And many of you who've been around a long time like me might recall her from over 30 years ago when she was a part of the O.J. Simpson Dream defense team, along with another favorite of the Legal Lens Show, attorney Carl Douglas. He was a part of that team as well. At the time, they both worked for the law offices of Johnny L. Cochran, famed civil rights and trial attorney. May he rest in peace. So definitely tune into Legal Lens tomorrow, Saturday, August the 3rd, where we welcome attorney Sean Hawley to talk about her time as a member of the O.J. Simpson Dream Team, defense team, and what she's been doing since. She's represented a number of celebrities and high-profile individuals since then. So definitely tune into that show. And we thank you, our guests that have been on First Things First this morning. Chris Lodgson helping us to break down current issues in reparations in the state of California. And also Sherry Bell, who was in our first hour, who's associated with the Los Angeles Black Worker Center, helping to give context to the current state of affairs for Black workers in the state of California and in Los Angeles. And so in this last half hour, we have a chance just to spend some time together. You can give us a call at 1-800-920-1580 on our KBLA Talk 1580 power lines. Would love to hear what's on your minds, what in the news is trending for you personally, what's top of mind for you. And, we could comb through the headlines. There's so many things to talk about just from this week alone. Probably top of mind for most Black Americans, I would think. It's just what we've seen in the news from our former president at his appearance at the National Black Journalists Conference in Chicago this past week, interviewed by one of my favorite journalists. She was one of the interviewers, Rachel Scott from ABC News. And in speaking about our Vice President, Kamala Harris, who, of course, is running for president as well, challenging her Blackness and, challenging her, saying, questioning whether she truly is Black. That at one point, from his recollection, that she identified as Indian and never claimed her Blackness. And of course, there's been some fact checking of that issue, and I believe the facts indicate that she has always acknowledged her Blackness and being of biracial heritage, her mother being Southeast Asian, Indian, and her father being of Black Jamaican descent. And so that for sure has been top of the news, along with so many other topics. What I have decided to do in this last 20 minutes or so that we have together, one, I invite your calls, but I invite you to specifically call too, if you have questions about the workplace and employment law. That is my personal specialty. I am an attorney. I don't practice anymore. I've been an attorney for about 27 years, and for a good part of my career, I represented clients in employment law, wrongful termination, harassment, discrimination. I've taken that experience now into a different part of the legal world, working as a mediator. And so I now work with parties on both sides of the equation, both employers and employees, to help them to resolve their conflict, whether it be pre-litigation or before a lawsuit is filed or during the course of litigation. I now help parties to resolve employment disputes and Title IX disputes in the form of mediation, which is a form of conflict resolution, alternative dispute resolution. But I still focus primarily on employment law, even in my world of mediation. So I'm very familiar with the California and the federal employment laws. So if you have a question or a comment about an area of employment law or something in the national news right now, or local news, I invite you to give me a call, pick my brain. You got, 15, 20 minutes to have the benefit, the advantage of having a California employment lawyer with you as your host today. And so I invite you to give me a call and ask me any pressing questions you may have specifically about employment law or other issues that I may be able to answer for you. But what I would like to do is kind of share with you what is top of mind for California employment lawyers, mediators like myself, what we're seeing, the kind of cases we are dealing with on a daily basis, and the kind of legal issues that we're following in this area. But if you'd like to give me a call, 1-800-920-1580. So just in this 2024 year alone, we've seen some interesting developments in California employment law. One, we have continuously seen the California minimum wage increase over the last few years. It's currently up to $16 an hour. Which is new, which is not, it's not new, but it shows that California is leading the way in terms of trying to level the playing field when it comes to wages. And we know in our food worker industry, the minimum wage increased recently to $20 an hour for individuals that specifically work in that industry. And that's sending shockwaves throughout the business community and the broader community, because many businesses, of course, are saying, we appreciate California that you are trying to level the playing field, but it is having a substantial impact on our business and our ability to pay workers and to make a profit. And so we now see many restaurants in particular passing those costs on to consumers by increase in what they're charging for food and for service and so forth. But that continues to be a major conversation around the increase and the continued increase of the minimum wage and wages overall in the state of California. We do have a caller. I see Mikel on the line. Mikel, we have to go to a pause for just a few minutes here, but when we come forward, I look forward to your question. Thank you for calling.
More of First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
We ask seniors how to prevent Medicare scams.
My best advice, if you get a phone call, do not talk to the person. These people are well trained. Don't talk to them.
They don't know me. They're just trying to scam me.
Don't be fooled. Hang up. Just hang up.
Never give out your Medicare number.
They're going to get your number to put in a false claim.
If I get a call from someone, I don't pick up the phone. And should I pick up the phone and they ask for information, then I hang up.
How do you detect Medicare fraud?
Just like I check my credit card statements, I check my Medicare statements monthly.
Scammers can get a hold of your number, order medical devices through your account, and you're not even going to know about it if you don't look at your statement.
Check your statement every month.
If you get your statement and you see something that you know you did not have done, you report it.
Call your senior Medicare Patrol.
To report Medicare fraud, call the Senior Medicare Patrol at 855-613-7080.
With reported hate crimes rising in recent years, California has responded through outreach efforts across state government and in collaboration with community-based organizations for the launch of CA versus Hate. This non-emergency, multilingual hate crime and incident reporting hotline provides an anonymous reporting option for victims and witnesses of hate acts reported in 15 different languages through the online portal and in over 200 languages when calling the hotline. Report anonymously by calling 833-866-4283, Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. or online at any time at cavshate.org. Hey, LA residents, it's planting season and the perfect time to get shade trees growing around your home. LADWP and City Plants are giving every resident up to 7 free trees. That's right, 7 free trees delivered right to your door. Trees are great for the environment, help improve air quality, and can help you save on your bill when you use less air conditioning to stay cool indoors. Learn more at ladwp.com/free trees. That's ladwp.com/free trees.
I occasionally have nerve discomfort in my hands, so the things I love to do...
Let's play something, Grandma.
...became difficult as I got older.
If you have occasional stabbing and burning in your hands and feet, try Nervive Nerve Relief. Nervive's clinically studied dose of alpha-lipoic acid reduces occasional nerve discomfort in as little as 7 days with continued daily use. Say yes to healthy nerves with Nervive Nerve Relief. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Ooh, I'm so ready for this weekend away with my girls.
Hey, hit the road? How about some free gas?
Free gas? How?
Try new Febreze car for some serious freshness and you can win gas for a full year. Visit Febreze.com to learn more.
Say less.
You may not win, but you're gonna have a fresh smelling whip.
Thanks, DJ Fresh. Now how about some music?
Hey, yo, this next one goes out to new Febreze car for giving you a chance to win free gas.
La, 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 la.
No purchase necessary. Must be 18 to enter N73124 for rules and how to enter. Visit Febreze.com.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 believes in community empowerment through the arts. Tia Chucha Central Cultural is on a mission to transform community in the Northeast San Fernando Valley and beyond through ancestral knowledge, the arts, literacy, and creative engagement. The Northeast San Fernando Valley has a population of about 500,000, the size of the city of Oakland, yet it has no bookstores, art galleries, or full-fledged cultural spaces until Tia Chucha's opened its doors in 2001. Founded by renowned poet and activist Luis Rodriguez, Tia Chucha's Cultural Center provides a year-round free or low-cost arts and literacy bilingual intergenerational programming in mural painting, music, dance, writing, visual arts, healing art sessions, and healing talking circles. Activities also include Mexica, Aztec dance, indigenous cosmology, philosophy, and 2 weekly open mic nights, one in Spanish, the other in English. In addition, they host author readings, film screenings, and art exhibits. To express yourself, heal yourself, attend an event, or volunteer, please visit www.tiachucha.org. That's TIACHUCHA.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
At KBLA Talk 1580, we do more than just talk.
You got a big mouth. Hello, Joe, you're up. Welcome.
We're unapologetically progressive and we don't black down.
To recession, depression, and unemployment, this song's for you.
Today's a new day, but there is no sunshine. Nothing but clouds and it's dark in my heart and it feels like a cold night. Today's a new day, but where are my blue skies? Where is the love and the joy that you promised me? Tell me it's alright.
I'll be honest with you.
I almost gave up. Yes, don't give up. Don't give up. What you gotta do instead? Gotta smile. Yes, yes. Thank you, Kirk Franklin, for reminding us to smile even Through the hard times, the difficulties, the challenges, certainly we need that message in this day and time where every day we turn on the news, as our ancestors, our elderly people say, it's always something, always something. Thank you for tuning into KBLA Talk 1580. This is the legal, not the Legal Lens Show. This is First Things First with Dominique DiPrima. I'm so used to saying that. This is Angela Reddock-Wright with KBLA Talk 1580's Legal Lens Show, guest hosting for Dominique today. Dominique, it's been an amazing almost 3 hours. Thank you for the opportunity, and thank you for the great guests that we have today. And for our caller this morning, Michael, you've been on the line a little bit. So sorry about that, but thank you for calling in. What's your question this morning?
My name is Mikael.
Oh, Mikael, thank you for that pronunciation. Thank you.
Dominic knows me. But the point is, I had a job at Dodger Stadium. I was there for 20 years before I was wrongfully terminated. Please don't laugh. This is funny. I got hit accidentally. I worked out in the seat as a vendor. I got hit by a baseball, and it knocked me out for like 5 minutes. And I went and got workers' comp, and, they helped me, and they fired me. So the point is, this is not the point. Recently, I paid this attorney, I don't even want to say how much, several $1,000 to get me my job back. And he, make a long story short, he told me to my face that he took a bribe, and he threw my case away. So what can you do in a situation because the world's so evil, if an attorney take a bribe, and how can you go forward with that? I mean, it's going to open back up again, because recently I worked at Rose Bowl, and that same company just came in over there. They told them not to let me work. Wow, the racism on black people. Y'all saying that black people don't want to work. That's not true. We're discriminated against. So don't put that on saying that we lazy, don't want to work. And I lost all my jobs through all this discrimination and corruption. So what can we do if attorney took bribe? I mean, I don't really have to get him, but I want to get the company. Now they just told me I can't work the Rose Bowl. They get a new contract in at the Rose Bowl. What can black people do? We don't have nothing.
Right. Wow. I am so sorry to hear that happened to you, that is continuing to follow you even as you're trying to work. And I do appreciate what you're saying also. There's definitely a myth out there that black people don't like to work. We do like to work. We're hard workers, and I appreciate that you're a hard worker and want to work as well. So first of all, this is not official legal advice. This is just a radio show. But generally speaking, if you're wrongfully terminated or have an issue as an employee with work and you go out and get an attorney, generally speaking, that is done on a contingency basis when an attorney is representing an employee for wrongful termination or something related to work. So the first, just starting with the idea that this attorney charged you to take on your case raises some red flags for me. It sounds like, based on how you're describing the situation, it sounds like that case should have been taken based on normal standards, based on a contingency fee basis, meaning you don't pay the attorney up front. They may ask you to pay some cost or basic investment in your case, but generally speaking, they take your case on a contingency basis, meaning they only get paid if you get paid, or if they get a resolution for you that's in the form of a settlement or a judgment. So that's the first. And granted, I don't have all the facts and don't know this attorney and don't want to, mention any names on air for sure. But it sounds like that's a case that you should have been able to find an attorney on a contingency basis. That said, you hired the attorney, you paid them money. They told you that, they got rid of your case, taking a bribe. What you want to do is give the state of California State Bar a call. I don't know the phone number off, just sitting here, but if you just look them up, give the California State Bar a call, let them know you have this complaint against this attorney, and see if that's a case that falls within their rules, guidelines for attorneys in the state of California, and if that's a case that they can investigate on your behalf. With respect to the company or any continuing companies that you are working with, you really want to seek out an attorney that you can talk to, really explain the situation to, and see and let them advise you as to whether they think there's any, they're there to your claims or merits to your claim that they would be willing to pursue on your behalf on a contingency basis. Definitely do not go out and find an attorney that is going to require you to pay a lot of money up front, just because the way you're describing the situation to me, and this is with employee claims specifically, not with all legal claims. Attorneys are in business. Attorneys, they have to make a living as well. But so, paying an attorney, I'm not advising against paying attorneys for legal services provided, because this is a business, it's a profession. But specifically when it comes to employee claims against their employers, those cases are generally taken on a contingency basis. Mikael, did I answer your question or give you some insights to go forward with?
Oh, well, yeah, I'm going to go forward anyway, no matter what. One of my Hebrew teachers told me, I always think positive. So
Yes.
I'm going to go forward because according to the law, I have a right. But in America, you don't have no right. A black person. This is the history where they burned up all the black Wall Street. It's just that's where the Americans in trouble. So, yeah, I'm going to go forward. I appreciate that, and right now I'm getting ready to go file a claim against that same company. Now at the Rose Bowl, I work for a pizza company out there, and they said, don't let him work. And they're going to mess up the company, going to get rid of the company. I've been working at Rose Bowl for 39 years, and the company just got a contract there, and they saw me there when I used to work for them at Dodger Stadium. They don't want me there.
Thank
is opening
you.
my case up.
Thank you, Mikael. And again, I'm sorry to hear this is happening to you, but definitely continue to call into Dominique's show. I know she always has great guests, great resources, and hopefully the resources we provided you this morning will help you in terms of knowing what your next step should look like. But we have to log off in just a second here to transition to our next show, but thank you for giving us a call. Folks, if you're just tuning in on the last 3 hours, we've had the Dominique DiPrima Show, First Things First. This is Angela Reddock-Wright. I've had the pleasure and honor of guest hosting today. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for our guests who've called in. Thank you for our caller. And I just want to wish you all joy today on this Friday. I want to wish you a great weekend, a time to renew and to refresh, spend time with family and friends, and just wish you all the best and encourage you to keep your heads up. As I said earlier, when we turn on the news, there's always something happening. So, listen to the news, stay educated, because we need to be educated so we know how to best engage and support in our community, but also find ways to release, to renew, to refresh, so that you can keep your mind stable and balanced and find things that bring you joy. On this Friday, I challenge you with going out and finding joy, smiling, finding peace. I always end my Legal Lens show with keep smiling and find a way to be kind to others, because the world needs a lot more of that. And as I close, I invite you again to join me on the Legal Lens show Saturdays at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, Sundays at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Signing off, this is Angela Reddock-Wright, and I've had the great pleasure of guest hosting for the amazing Dominique DiPrima, First Things First.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.